I'm very excited about starting the new open mic show. Been, I think, off for a couple of months, but we're back, and the show will be here every Monday night. We've changed the time from 6:30 start to a 6 o'clock start, and we're going to end it at 8 rather than 8:30. So 6 to 8 every Monday night. Make that an appointment for you on your calendar so you can join me and whoever I have for a guest. Now, tonight, I have a very special guest. He's really not a... Not a guest. I call him a guest co-host because his name is Bill Ellis, and Bill has been with me many times on the microphone at other radio stations. And I just thought it would be, we were talking, and he offered to come in, and I thought it would be a great start. And we'll have a lot of different comment and information throughout the night. Bill's always good with his computer, finding stuff that is of interest to the general public. And we'll have a good time tonight, so please do stick around. I want to also tell you that, wherever you're listening, we have multiple sources where the open mic show can be picked up. It's on 14... it's not on 1490. That's the old WHAV. See, I've been around a long time. I actually used to do a show there. It's WHAV FM at 97.7, and it's also on Facebook. You can also find us on the various cable channels around the area. So we'd also like to thank the boards and the staff and the management and all the members of the local cable access TV stations, and especially HC Media for providing both audio and video streaming. So with that being said, I think we can also say your calls are welcome anytime tonight. 978-374-1900. You can call in if you have a question. I do want to say, although I am on the Haverhill City Council, I'm not acting as a city councilor here. I am just hosting the program, the new open mic show. But we can talk about Haverhill. We're going to do that. I'm sure before the night is out, we're going to have a lot of different topics. Bill, do you want to add anything?
I want to ask you a question.
Oh, no.
You're from Haverhill.
I am.
And we were talking about trivia leading up to the start of the show. Who from the Jackie Gleason show was from Haverhill?
From Haverhill.
From Haverhill.
Male or female?
Male.
Give me male. Norton?
Nope.
No.
Frankie Fontaine.
Frankie, that's right.
The Crazy Guggenheim.
I forgot about Frankie Fontaine. He was from Haverhill. Yeah.
So he's from Haverhill, like you're from Haverhill. You're a lifetime resident of this beautiful city.
That's right. And I'm a little crazy, too, at times. So.
Crazy Guggenheim, he was excellent.
Yeah,
he used
was.
to make that strange face and so forth. And of course, we all know Tom Bergeron.
Tom Bergeron's from Haverhill, but he was not on the Jackie Gleason program.
No, he was not. He was probably about 6 when the Jackie Gleason show was on.
Right.
And did you know Alexander Graham Bell spent a lot of time in Haverhill?
Yes, I did.
You did know that.
Yeah, he made a phone call in Haverhill.
And it was a wrong number. Imagine that. His first phone call was a wrong number.
It came from a house... or to a house. Saunders, I think, was the last name of the family. And I actually know which house it is.
Well, he actually spent time tutoring the deaf son of a prominent shoe magnate that lived in Haverhill.
Yeah, right in the area. It's right in the Highlands area.
Do you know his first phone call was actually a phone call that he made to notify the person in the next room that he had spilled acid on himself?
I did not know that.
That's right. It was a 911 call. Was the first phone call
911.
ever made.
It was also, he set that up way back then, right?
Way back then he had it.
Yeah. Well,
so, Billy, lots of things to talk about today.
Yeah.
The Senate approved a bill. We don't have a government shutdown.
We do not. At least we have it for a few more days.
Right.
I think
and then
Wednesday.
They'll have that other vote.
Yeah.
And so that looks positive. Everything's coming up that. The other thing I wanted to talk about, too, tonight was the flu epidemics going on.
It is bad.
There's a lot of people lost their lives.
Yes, especially children. I think it's
30 children so far.
Yeah, I heard over 40 today, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's sad. You wouldn't think about it. You think it just puts you in bed and so forth. And
do you get the flu shot?
I do not.
No, I usually don't either. I've had it once. But, you're really like rolling the dice on it. Last year, they said it had a 30% effective rate. In this year, it's 10% is what I heard.
And the funny part about it is if you went today, it takes 3 to 4 weeks to kick in. So you're vulnerable for that period of time. And by that time, maybe spring. The flu will have left town.
Close to spring, yeah.
And I guess every year there's a different strain of flu.
Right, and they have to guess at what they think it will be the best vaccine.
But the thing is, though, it always amazes me is there's got to be some form of intelligence for this particular flu to change its strain. How does that happen? Because if it knows that there's a vaccine that's going to wipe it out, it changes course and does something different.
Well, that's pretty much like most of the viruses, right?
We got to get a doctor
the
on here.
drugs, the prescription drugs don't always work for an extended period of time. They have to keep modifying.
But does it ever astound you the way a disease will change itself or morph into something else? There has to be some
I haven't
sort of
thought about it a lot, but
think about it. Think about it on the way home tonight.
You have a point.
We should ask a doctor about that.
If anybody wants to call in and comment on this, you're always welcome to call in 978-374-1900.
That would be nice if there's a doctor out there that's listening right now.
Right, it would.
So, but I guess one of the things is you're supposed to wash your hands all the time.
Always. That's one of the 10 things I heard that you should.
What were the other 9?
I can't remember, but I do that a lot. I do wash.
Well,
my
you got
hands
that compulsive
often.
disorder with you.
No, I'm not germophobic. I'm not that. There are
you
some
notice
people,
that in that twitch that you have too.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. Where's the Perel? I thought I brought it in with me.
yeah.
Do you like Perel?
No.
I personally, I don't like it.
Yeah. Well, I don't use any of that stuff.
I just
maybe that's
soap
why
and water,
I'm
soap and
sucking
water.
on cough drops tonight
All right.
because of that.
All
guess
right.
we have a call,
Hey,
William.
we have
Let's
our first
let's see who it
call
is.
on the new open mic. Hello.
Hello, how are you, Bill?
Well, wait a minute. Let me. I'm still a rookie on running this board. Let me see. Are we there?
Yes, hello, Bill.
Jerry.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I wanted to talk about the sewage episode, but I did major in biology, and microbiology was one of my best subjects. So I can tell you the reason why.
About the mutation?
Yes, about the mutation.
Okay.
Basically, years and years ago, remember a scientist invented penicillin. It's a mold actually, penicillin notatum. And basically what happened was that was the result of a lot of experimentation. And for years and years and years, doctors would prescribe penicillin. So what happened is that there's what they call an attenuation. The disease gets used to the penicillin and creates another strain.
Right.
And actually then penicillin doesn't work any longer. It was kind of an abuse of penicillin.
Huh.
And that's how it comes. So, when I was in the hospital with the flu, I was in there a whole week. It affected my blood. I got what's called bacteremia.
Just this year, the new flu, the one that's out now.
Got into my blood.
No kidding.
And they were really concerned. In fact, I got out after a week, but I had to wear what's called a PIC. A PIC is a device where, on a daily basis, I got a very, very hard-hitting antibiotic called vancomycin. It's the one that they use. In most cases, they use it as a kind of a last-ditch alternative.
Yeah.
So anyway, my blood culture was positive, but after using the vancomycin for, I'd say 5 or 6 days, they took the PIC out, which is actually a plastic tube that goes into up your arm into one of your arteries. Basically what they found then that the culture was negative. So the vancomycin worked. So in other words, doctors have had to go, and scientists have had to develop, aureomycin and all these other kinds of drugs, tetracycline and all of these, because of the potential for these bacteria and viruses to attenuate after being subject to the same antibiotic for so many years. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's really interesting, Jerry. You're doing good now, though. I'm glad you're on the road to recovery. And
the thing that I really wanted to talk to, and I'll be very rapid, I was really disappointed. I thought the city of Haverhill would take umbrage against Greater Lawrence Sanitary District for the episode they had. When was it? In October?
Yeah, it was back around that time. It's been a number of months because I remember when it happened, I was upset and concerned.
Yeah, I was upset. I called the plant itself, and I said, you know what happened, and I was told that the trucks delivering the portable generators got stuck on the bridge, and etc.
Right.
You know, and
but for those, just to give a little background for those that missed
comment that I really didn't like was well, our upstream communities are also doing it. You know,
right.
I didn't think that was appropriate. You know,
right. And
so anyway, basically,
quick question.
They said it was 9 million gallons per day over a 13-hour period, but I think it was much more like 13 because I think they were using what's called dry weather flow, and where they should have been using rain flow. You know, because that plant during episodes of stormwater.
And that's the Greater Lawrence Sanitary Waste District, right?
Yes, exactly. It's a combination of sewage and coming from combined sewer overflows and things like that.
Right.
You know, Haverhill has done quite a little bit, though, on addressing the problem.
Correct.
But the other communities have done
less.
Shall I use a colloquial expression, diddly?
Yeah, well,
very, very little.
Yeah. Jerry, I gotta pause here for a commercial break. If I could stop you there, we'll get back to you for a little bit right after the break. Okay?
Okay.
All right, hold on. Thank you. All right, we're going to take a break on the new open mic.
Open mic! Bill Macek and the new open mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900. If you're enjoying this program, consider becoming a WHAV member right now. Just click on the membership tab at whav.net.
WHAV is on Facebook. For quick access, visit whav.net and click on the Facebook icon.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Gary Best. Do you need to know if it's going to be hot or cold, wet or dry? Well, find out every half hour, 7 days a week with Wave Weather. I'll keep you in touch with up-to-the-minute reports covering the greater Merrimack Valley and beyond. It's WHAV for accurate weather when you want it.
Community Spotlight.
Are you smarter than a Kiwanian? Haverhill Kiwanis invites teams of 4 to 10 people to take part in the service organization's Trivia Night on Saturday, January 27th at 7 p.m. at the Elks Club, 24 Summer Street. The event benefits Pentucket Kiwanis Charities and includes appetizers and a cash bar. Prizes will be awarded to the top 3 teams. Trivia buffs can register for $30 in advance or pay $35 at the door. More information and registration material are available at pentucketkiwanis.org. Someone you know is on WHAV. To submit or read your own nonprofit announcements, click on the Contact tab at whav.net or email news@whav.net. In the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, this is Robin Fancher.
Open mic! From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents the new Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
Okay, we are back with the new open mic. I'm Bill Macek, and my co-host
Bill Ellis,
Bill
and I
Ellis.
have a question for Jerry.
You have a question for
Is Jerry
Jerry?
still on the line?
Jerry, you there?
I am, yeah.
Jerry,
Jerry's
quick
there.
question. Did you have an opportunity to speak to any of the people at the hospital at all? If what you're suffering from, are there other people that are in your age bracket?
There were a number of other people in the hospital with not exactly what I had, but because I have what's called bacteremia in addition to the bug, you know, and
But it's this year's flu.
I can recall watching a city council meeting in Methuen, and then getting news that at least two or three of the councilors had a touch of the flu.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's.
I've heard this year it's very bad.
Stage
yeah.
Right now.
Right.
It is bad. Now, again, getting back to my original point, though, it seems very odd that the flu bug can seem to generate itself into a different form on a yearly basis.
But I think we do that too. When in listening to Jerry and thinking about it, that's why the doctors are so hesitant to give you a prescription drug, because if you take it too much, your body won't respond to it when you need it. So
what they do now is they do what's called sensitivities. Basically, in the old days when I was a microbiologist part-time in a laboratory, I was certified, so I did microbiology, and the cultures would come in from the doctors, throat cultures and things like that, and we would do what we would do is we would isolate the organism, a bacteria. Nobody knew much about viruses at that time, and we would isolate that, and then we would grow that in a media, and then we would swab 3 blood plates, and on those blood plates we would put all the different antibiotics that we felt would be capable of addressing this problem.
Yeah.
And depending upon what was called a halo around the sensitivity disc, that would be the one that we would recommend to the doctor. That we would give him the report, and he would then go back to his patients and put them on the proper medicine.
You're unbelievable, Jerry.
Jerry, did you ever do any lab work with Timothy Leary?
No, I didn't.
No, Jerry.
He was the guy that made the. He was the guy that was using the hallucinate.
He knows.
Jerry, you're too sharp for me.
He knows. I'll tell you.
It's called LSD.
Jerry, we've got to move on.
Yeah.
But thank you for calling in. I'm sure we'd like to hear from you from time to time whenever you got a thought, or you can answer one of our questions in the future, okay? Have a great night, Jerry.
One thing in closing.
Go ahead.
I think that you know yourself that the Clean Water Act was passed so many years ago, and it looked like the Merrimack River, was going to be cleaned up. But in the last 10 years, there has been really no progress on cleanup. And I know that Haverhill and Methuen and Lawrence and Lowell all have had consent decrees. It just seems like DEP and EPA are acting more like paper tigers now.
We should probably look into that, Jerry. And you know about it because you're a ex-DEP guy, and you know so much. We're going to start calling you Dr. Jerry. So thanks for calling in, and we'll talk to you maybe next week. Okay.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thanks, Jerry. Have a great night, and thanks for calling.
God, thank Eureka.
Thank you, Eureka. We're out in California.
Yeah.
Now, talking about medical conditions.
In Nevada, Eureka, Nevada.
Well, it's when you're looking for gold.
No.
But did you watch the Patriots game yesterday?
That's
with
where
the
I was
medical
going to
condition
go.
of the Patriots, of Tom Brady?
Tom Brady, yeah.
Did you see his hand afterwards? It didn't look that bad.
I didn't see the hand without the bandage. I only saw.
No, I didn't see that, but apparently there's anywhere between 4 to 12 stitches underneath there.
Right.
And I was listening to a radio report that was talking about speculation and what actually happened, and it sounded gruesome. But apparently he hit his hand on somebody's helmet.
Yeah, that's what I had
and
heard.
that's what it cut.
Right, but he'll be fine in 2 weeks.
He was fine yesterday.
He was good yesterday, right? If he had he had a few passes that didn't quite hit, but he always does that.
But he's 40 years old, though. I mean,
Don't hold that against him.
He's bound to slow down just a hair.
Well, you're what, 32? He's in better shape than you.
Think of that. He's got 8 years on me, and he's still a whole lot better.
Right.
But, he leads a charmed life. I mean, you take a look at it. His success in the NFL, he married a woman that's gorgeous and has more money than him.
That's right. But he keeps playing. And, he's making less money than a lot of the other quarterbacks. I think he's making only $15 million.
Yeah.
And he's Tom Brady.
I feel bad.
He's the GOAT. I mean, he's the best.
He is good. I'm telling you. It'd be interesting to see the scenario with the Patriots after this year.
After the Super Bowl, when they lose both their defensive and offensive coordinators.
Well, it's a question whether or not Josh McDaniels is going to go anywhere.
Well, yeah, maybe.
If he sticks around, he may have been spoken to and said, look, you stick another 2 or 3 years.
You may be the next head coach, yeah.
I think there's a good possibility for that.
That's been the rumor, yeah.
So the Gronk will be back in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Amendola.
They're not, he has to pass the test, and it has to also include an evaluation from a outside neutral doctor.
Is this the same doctor that gave Donald Trump his physical? Because if he does, there'll be a lot of questions.
Well, or if it does, maybe they should use him.
Do you think? Yeah, that's a possibility too. He had a problem with the alphabet, but he can play football.
Right, he's okay. Right, but I said that to my wife though. I said, I hope that when they're checking him out for concussion, that they realize they're asking questions to Gronk.
You know what? Because he could be inherently slow.
Right. I mean, he's kind of a fun guy, but I'm not sure.
Because it was, I've always said the theory, wouldn't it be something if white mice inherently have cancer?
Yeah,
so, but
it could happen.
But no,
it may be the case.
Give the phone number, Billy. If anybody wants to talk about football, we can talk about that also.
No, was that a racist comment that you said white mice? Why don't you just say all mice?
Because they don't use anything other than white mice.
All right, I'm just very
in
self-conscious
fear
about
of any racist things happening.
We have to be politically correct. We are in the 2018 year already. Can you believe it's 2018? We're going to be in 2020 in 2 years.
Do you ever hear that song by Zager and Evans?
No, it reminds me of, I remember
25, 25.
Yeah,
listen to it because we are getting to what that song talks about.
When I hear 2020, I think of that old show and Barbara Walters voicing it. Remember?
Baba
She
Wawa.
used to say 2020.
I was just actually talking about her the other day with my mother.
Really?
Her father owned Blindstrips, which was in
Boston? No
yes,
kidding.
That's right.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, see, all the good facts, we're just shooting them out there. And anybody that wants to join us with any information, they can call in. If they have a question, if they want to get us on a different track, 978-374-1900. Remember that number? This is the new Open Mic Show. We are on our maiden voyage tonight here. My guest co-host is Bill Ellis. My name is Bill Macek. And we're going to be here until 8 o'clock tonight.
Last maiden voyage I was on was an SS
Unless
Titanic.
we're like the Titanic. Yeah, let's hope not. All right. Well, anyway, what else are we going to talk about tonight?
Let's talk about the shutdown. Who was to blame for the shutdown?
Well, it depends whether you're talking to a Republican or a Democrat.
Of what you could see, who did it look like was to blame? I know that the liberal media was putting a spin on that it was the GOP. And Nancy Pelosi wanted to come across and say, when you talk about it, you mentioned about the GOP shutdown. But everything it looked to me that I saw had to deal with Chuck Schumer. And the reason being is a lot of questions have come up. They were holding out for illegal immigrants, not looking to protect the military and the citizens of the United States on the shutdown. So people that were living in this country legally were going to be affected because Schumer wanted to help protect
DACA.
illegals.
He wanted to get DACA, kind of wrapped in. And, I think they should work that out. But the thing is, DACA goes until I think it's the beginning of March before anything would happen. And this is about funding our country and all of the services and the people that work for the government and also the benefits that come back to the states. And that's where I think, it was wrong to do this shutdown because it really is disruptive to what people are dependent upon, including, children's services and things like that. So I'm happy they're now getting it back together. It seems like they have enough people to restart the government, and it's amazing how this time, unlike the last shutdown 5 years ago, this time there are a lot of services that people were working in anticipation that they would get retroactive pay, but they didn't just go home and say, well, no money, no work. Mm-hmm. They're working to keep the government open.
Why do you think the Democrats blinked? Do you think they were seeing
I think that
unfavorable reaction in public?
It was starting to turn that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they didn't they didn't think it through. I mean, DACA hopefully will get resolved, but it's only the end of January. You got the whole month of February to try and work it out. And they're only giving, I think, 3 weeks of funding. So we could be back here again. But hopefully in the 3 weeks, for a change, I would like to hope that they can workshop it, come up with a solution, and have a bill that's acceptable to both Republicans and Democrats, so that we can also fund the government. Wouldn't it be nice if they started funding the government instead of with the continuing resolutions, but that they started funding the government with a real budget? We do that in Haverhill. Mm-hmm. We do it for the state.
Billy, maybe this is your leaping board or jump start on the for politics in Washington.
Not interested.
Mr. Macek goes to Washington.
Yeah, I'll go for it. I like this Washington. I used to go down there when I was a member of the Massachusetts board of Massachusetts board. Massachusetts Broadcasters Association. Oh. And we would go down and we would actually speak to all the reps and the senators. Actually met multiple times with our current Senator Markey, but also with our current Senator Liz Warren. She's actually very enjoyable to speak with.
We'll talk about that after this break. The producer wants us to do a little something, and you have some comments to make about a birthday cake.
I do. Yep. All right. We're going to take a break right here on the new Open Mic.
Open Mic!
Bill Macek and the new Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900. If you're enjoying this program, consider becoming a WHAV member right now. Just click on the membership tab at whav.net.
It's 6:33.
Why pay $250 to $350 a year for half as much news? On air and online. 97.9 WHAV provides more Greater Haverhill news more often than any other sources combined. Support the only Haverhill-based news source with your tax-deductible local news membership by clicking on the membership tab at whav.net.
Catch the wave!
Would it surprise you to know radio still reaches more than 90% of people in every age group every week? It's a fact. And 97.9 WHAV FM's target audience averages 92%. While other media are cutting back, area residents turn to WHAV for local news, information, and entertainment they cannot find elsewhere. Add what has been called the halo effect of public radio, and listeners find business messages more credible and trustworthy than other forms of advertising. For a no-obligation assessment about how WHAV can help your business reach more people than all other local media combined, call 978-374-1900 or visit whav.net.
Wave weather!
I'm WHAV meteorologist Gary Best with wave weather. Cloudy for tonight with occasional light showers coming through. Temperatures steady or rising a few degrees. Coming up during the day on Tuesday, periods of rain likely. Breezy and mild with a high of 50. Clearing at night down between 30 and 35. Partly to mostly sunny and close to 40 on Wednesday. Colder and fair on Thursday. This is Gary Best. Your next wave weather in 30 minutes.
Open Mic!
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents the new Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
He doesn't leave me anything to say. He said he gave the phone number. He gave my name. I mean...
Well, they know
the
know,
name of the show.
They know you're a little lax, Bill. That's why they have to do it. You know what I was just thinking though, when they were talking about the weather and seeing old time Ed Johnson up in the picture here in the
Edwin V.
Johnson's newsroom.
Yeah.
Remember Don Kent for WBZ?
I do.
I just happened to think about it. We're looking at Mr. Johnson up here, and this is his newsroom.
Yeah, he was one of our, if not the first Boston meteorologist.
And apparently he had become famous because there was a storm that was approaching, and he called it correctly. And I guess other meteorologists did not.
He had his own little weather station that he built.
Weather station. They used to have products, Don Kent products.
Yeah, right, yeah. But who was the Channel 4 reporter that they always put out in the middle of the blizzard?
Male or female?
Female.
Shelby Scott.
Shelby Scott.
Poor Shelby. I don't think she's with us anymore.
No, well, I don't know if she is or not, but I hope that they froze her, cryogenics, because she was probably partially frozen anyway from the assignments she used to get. Anyway, let me tell you about this, because this is something that we do. The open mic program has been doing it for quite some time. It's the birthday contest, and it will include a giveaway cake from LBD's Italian Bakery in Bradford. They're right in Bradford Center, 140 South Main Street, if you want to set your GPS. But I'm sure you know where it is. It's right there. It's a great spot, off-street parking, and great product. And we're going to be giving away a cake. Now, we're not going to be giving away cake for January. We're going to combine what we get in January with what we also get in February. And then on the last Monday of February, we will be giving away the cake. Okay? Is that all right with you?
Sounds good with me, as long as I can win it.
Well, the first guest always pays for the cake for the month, so you're going to cough up before you leave. And no, all right. We have somebody on the line, actually, that would like to call in on the cake. Hello.
How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
So you say that you're going to combine?
Well, we're not doing
January.
We're going to come because we've only got a couple of shows this month.
Yeah.
So we're going to do them. We're going to do I guess we're going to have a little combination of January, February birthdays. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right.
Well,
If you're as lucky as I think you are, you can still win.
well, I was led to believe that you were going to skip January.
Well, we're not skipping. We are taking names, but we're going to roll them into February too.
Okay. Well.
But what do you have a birthday?
Is
your birthday January or February?
Mine?
Well, the one you're calling in about.
Well, I was calling it February, but
February is good. You can give us
and I'll call Chris back with
give us both if you want. Okay, that's fine. What's your name?
What's my name?
Yeah.
You know my name. It's Brian.
Hi, Brian. Oh, hi.
Hi, Brian. How are you?
Thanks for calling in. Are you just going to give the information for the registration to Chris?
Yeah, I'll call Chris back because he has one of them.
Okay.
See, the February birthday is Frank, and Frank has won before.
Okay.
Frank is also a practicing physician across the street from LBD's second generation Italian bakery.
You got it.
140 South Main Street in Bradford.
There's no January
right.
cake, Billy. I just want to remind you that.
No, that's right.
because it's going to save me some money.
Right.
But there will be a February cake.
Hopefully.
When is your birthday?
Well, that is the February.
My birthday isn't until October.
No.
So
mine's in October,
I can't.
I'm sure by then the show will be off the air.
Thank you.
No.
Whoa. Well, me letting you on, I risk that happening.
Yes. Yeah. But there'll be no January cake, but there will be a February cake. And what are the chances he can win? Everybody has to call in.
Depends how many people call in.
Well, you're confusing things now because you said there's not going to be a January cake.
Well, we're combining January, February. There's no January cake. That's right.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a double.
Them.
It's a double layered cake for February.
It's my my guest co-host Bill. He's a little slow.
I can't help myself.
Yeah.
It's all that cake I ate as a kid.
That's it.
Now, what kind of cake would you want to eat if you won?
Well, they only offer for this contest vanilla or chocolate.
For you, we'd make an exception.
Like
because you sound exceptional.
I really prefer a yellow cake, like a lemon.
I like lemon cake. That's one of my
very
favorites.
Good, yeah.
Yeah. You know, I think chocolate is probably the favorite cake, just from knowing what people say. But I'm not a big chocolate eater.
Well, a lot of the chocolate cakes in some of those bakeries are kind of on the dry side.
Yeah, and I like even a whiter vanilla cake.
That's racist to me.
No, don't bring it. We're talking.
You brought it up before.
Cakes. No, you were talking mice. I'm talking. They're living and breathing.
Yeah.
Cakes don't live and breathe.
They use only white mice when it comes to experiments.
See, he heard you. Yeah.
That's true. Well, hopefully you'll be victorious and win the cake of your pleasure, and maybe they'll make it a lemon cake.
Maybe we should do a poll tonight, with the callers. Brian, what do you think of my co-host tonight? Should I let him come back ever? Or
I suppose so.
Yeah? All
Brian,
right.
you're all right. I want Brian to win the cake.
All right.
Well, personally, I
Double
don't
frosting.
know anything about football, except it's exciting now.
It is. Right.
What hobbies do you have?
What's that?
What hobbies do you have, or what do you like to watch on TV?
Oh, actually, I like to watch the old TV shows that we used to watch as kids. Not you. You're a young guy. But
What is the show you used to like to watch? What's your favorite show?
Well, it's not a favorite, but it's one of the shows I enjoy and still enjoy watching. Hogan's Heroes.
Oh, great show. Me too.
It's funny. The fellow that played Hogan, he died a very young man. He got murdered.
Yeah.
He was murdered.
Yeah.
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 And another interesting part too, when they approached Werner Klemperer to play
Werner.
Yes, he said the only way he would do that role is if they made the Germans look stupid, because he was a German Jew.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, most of those guys are Jews.
Yeah.
On there.
All right. Hey, Brian, we're going to jump to another call.
Okay.
And
All right. Thanks for calling in. Don't be a stranger.
And I want to say happy birthday to Laura for January.
All right, Laura in January.
Thank you very much, Brian.
We got it.
Okay, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. All right. We're going to jump over to our next call, which is
Kenny Quimby
on line 2, and it's Kenny Quimby.
Hey, good evening, Bill. Congratulations on your new role.
Kenny, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for listening, and thank you for calling in.
Well, the reason why I'm calling, I want you to put it out there. It's very slippery outside. We've had a few accidents already.
Oh, really?
And
Okay.
So it's a little icy. Crystal Street is shut down. I just heard it on my scanner. Right now I'm sitting the highway out. So if people are listening, be careful going home in the next few hours.
That's a great call, Kenny. Thank you for calling in with that safety information.
Well, that you know how
I know you, yeah. I wouldn't expect anything less. Yep.
Kenny, you on the highway?
No, I wish I could. That'd be a nice job for me.
No.
No.
Are you driving?
Are you driving on the highway? Not if you were.
I'm going to a neighborhood meeting tonight downtown the Highlands. That's where I'm heading to. And I just come out of my house, and my street's a little icy on Gooddale Street. And Crystal Street, they said it's shut down right now.
No kidding.
Shut it down about 5 minutes ago.
All right, well, drive safe, Kenny. Tell everybody in the Highlands Neighborhood Association that I said hello.
I will.
They're great people, a great neighborhood association.
Well, I'm just going to get more involved, of course, and so forth. And I will see you tomorrow night, Mr. Macek, at the council meeting.
I'll be there. All right, Kenny.
Kenny, drive carefully.
Thanks for your call.
Thank you, gentlemen. Take care. Be safe.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right. Isn't that a great call? That he
It is a
cared
good call.
enough
It's
to
nice that he's
spread that.
concerned about the other.
Kenny
people.
is a really good citizen here in Haverhill and does a lot. All right, so we're getting close to our quarter of break. Why don't we take that break now so we won't be interrupted in 2 minutes? All right?
Sounds good.
All
sir.
right.
Thank you.
This is the new open mic. I'm Bill Macek, and my guest co-host tonight, Bill Ellis. We'll be here until 8 o'clock tonight. If you want to give us a call, please feel free. 978-374-1900.
Open mic.
Bill Macek and the new open mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900. If you're enjoying this program, consider becoming a WHAV member right now. Just click on the membership tab at WHAV.net.
97.9 WHAV.
Catch the wave.
Hi, it's Gary LaPierre. I worked for WHAV. It was brief. Long story. Tell you sometime. Anyway, become a WHAV member or renew your membership now. Just visit WHAV.net and click on the membership tab.
WHAV Open Mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents the new Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
Okay, it's the new open mic with Bill Macek. It is Monday night. It is 6:45, and we will be bringing other guests on in weeks to come. And if you have something you would like us to be speaking about for a topic, or maybe suggest a guest that we could bring in, we'll reach out to that person and try to make them part of the new open mic program. Tonight, my guest host is Bill Ellis.
Thank you for having me on here.
He is really full of it. He's got lots of stuff to talk about. What else, Bill? What do you want to talk about next?
That was it.
That's it? All right. Well, then I got some
things.
stuff we could talk about. I want to say that, Haverhill is, we're all going to be faced with recreational marijuana in the not-too-distant future. Probably, by the end of 2018, the communities are all throughout the state going to have to figure out what they're doing. The recently appointed Cannabis Control Commission is actually promulgating new rules, regulations for all the communities. They have not yet been fully promulgated and put out, but we're thinking in Haverhill, the city council is thinking about maybe passing a moratorium to give us an additional 6 months after the rules are set for us to review them and see how we have to work with them so that we don't get we're not behind the eight ball in a sense, and we don't have somebody apply for something that we haven't regulated already in our community. Now, Haverhill is one of the communities that voted in favor of both recreational and medical marijuana, and we have done an overlay into a certain district which is right off the highway. It's on a numbered route. You turn right off of a numbered route, and it's pretty much, it's a non-residential area. It's a commercial industrial area, which would be very easy for people to traverse to and from, and it also would not be disruptive to any neighborhood. So we have that.
You're going to have an influx of people because you have surrounding neighborhoods that
you mean surrounding communities
that do not allow.
Well, that's one of the
marijuana.
reasons we didn't want to put it in a heavily trafficked area or something that's hard to get to. So I think that the council was wise in its decision to do the overlay in the area that we put it in. So, but we're also going to probably put a moratorium on recreational. We do allow for medical in that overlay district. And there is a company that's moving forward right now to try and work with the mayor on creating a host community agreement. And the city would receive a fairly substantial payment from that community as being the host community. But that's not what it's all about either. There are other factors that need to be considered. So if anybody wants to chime in on that one, I think it is a topic that people are interested in, concerned about, and I would love to hear from you. Again, the number is 978-374-1900. And I'd also throw out, call in and let us know whether you're in favor of recreational marijuana, especially if it were going to be allowed throughout the community and maybe even in your neighborhood or close to your home. How do you feel about it? Or do you want it, but you don't want it close by? Or are you willing to allow it to be everywhere in the same way that, we'll say, liquor is allowed to be sold throughout the city?
The thing I don't understand about what this marijuana issue is, for folks that have CDLs, to be able to drive large vehicles, they're not allowed to have any marijuana in their system. But yet the voters have determined that marijuana is okay, for recreational. But if a person had a recreational marijuana, then drove a truck and got caught, and they have marijuana in their system, they would be penalized. But now with the person that, or an attorney defending the driver saying, well, it's legal. So there's a big contradiction that I see that could be coming down the road.
But there's an early Supreme Court decision that says that the federal government, whatever they legislate, is superior and excuse the word, but it trumps the state regulations or laws.
Okay, how about sanctuary cities then?
Well, I think that if it were to be ever challenged, if this decision were to stay in place, we have a new body at the Supreme Court that, but so far what I understand, what I've been told, is that this decision has been upheld numerous times, and it is the law of the land. But we're really at a point. I mean, California wants to secede, and they're moving towards it. California, they're always first. I remember when I was young, I used to hear, everything starts on the West Coast, everything starts in California, and it moves towards the east. And it takes a period of time. And I can think of some things that were true, that things started in California and moved to the east.
McDonald's breakfast first started in California.
There's one, yeah. But with all that being said, what is going on? I mean, if they want to secede, that means that little by little the whole country's going to break up. It'll move from the west.
I know in California, though, that there's a secession movement because they want to split the state in two. Conservative areas that happen to be away from the ocean, and then the liberal, like Los Angeles and San Francisco.
I haven't
and so
seen
forth.
the division map. Yeah. Well, I'm sure every state has, their division of parties, that people are, one liberal or conservative, or what happened to the word moderate? There's no more moderates.
There isn't.
I think that's what used to kind of be the stick in Washington, D.C. and everywhere to get things resolved, when somebody could work to the middle. Whatever happened to negotiation? It seems like it's either my way or no way.
It's funny you mentioned that, because it brings back memories when Ronald Reagan wanted to get something done. He brought Tip O'Neill into the Oval Office, and they had a drink.
Yeah.
And that's how they got things taken care of.
Well, I think Donald Trump tried that with Nancy and Schumer, and didn't work out.
No, it's
maybe they didn't serve him a drink.
Maybe it's not the drink they wanted.
Maybe
because Donald Trump doesn't drink,
That's right. Okay.
So Nancy and Chuck don't like milk.
Right.
So in fact, it's interesting because did you see after the other day, Nancy Pelosi took a lot of her fellow D.C. constituents out, and they lived the high life. I guess they were drinking the top shelf.
I didn't see that.
Yes.
Oh.
So while America was shutting down, she was out having a good time.
Well, everybody's entitled to a good time.
Yeah, but not at the sake of when you have people that are not getting paychecks.
She should have been working, is what you're saying.
Exactly, she should have been working.
Right, yeah. They don't seem to work as hard as I know that, they have to, spend half their time raising funds, getting contributions for their next election. It's really a hornet's nest down there. It's not what meets the eye, if you know a little bit of what it's like to be a congressperson or a senator.
And it's always interesting, too, because they get paid $180,000 or whatever it is a year, and they're in there for 10 years, and they walk out and they get $600 million in the bank. How does that happen?
Good question. I don't know the answer to that. I do not.
It could be like the deals that when Hillary bought the stock in the cows or something, and she made $1 million and then a $10,000 investment overnight.
I remember that, yeah. That was a great play. She's a smart lady.
She should have been president.
Yeah.
Just think if she had done that.
Just think what she could. She could have fixed the deficit.
I got to ask you a question.
Just a couple of times, couple of days.
This has irked me very much. Did you read, because the FBI was doing the investigation on Donald Trump and this dossier, and there was two FBI agents, a man and a woman, who were having an affair. While they were working together. And they were sending emails or text messages back and forth. And it came out over the weekend, the FBI's lost those text messages.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yes.
Jeez. They lost. It's like.
Well, it's interesting. How does that happen? Were they the only two people, or were there other people that were involved in the FBI investigation that lost their text messages also?
I have an idea. I can't be sure I'm right, but I bet it has something to do with somebody maybe cleaning and using bleach bit.
I think there's a good question on that. The speculation is that there may have been other names mentioned in some of those texts that would have shown a spotlight on somebody higher up the ladder.
It's called redaction. You redact those out, and
Yeah, but the redaction, though, there's a document that's left. You can't see it, but there's something that's there, and it's got a lot of black lines through it.
Well,
it's the same scenario that I see that happened when you had conservative groups that were being scrutinized by the IRS.
I can't believe that the only copy was destroyed.
Yeah, that's what they
lost. The only, yeah.
They were saying there was a problem with upgrades.
Maybe Uma has a copy, or maybe your husband.
Now, what's going to come out with that? Because it's interesting because they found he had secret,
top secret
Wiener, and what a name for this guy.
him, I know.
But that's his legitimate name.
It is.
And actually, he's serving time up in Devon's, not too far from here. He may even be listening to this show at this time. But he had
We could, because we're on the internet too.
On Facebook too,
and Facebook. You can
and if
listen
you
to
turn
it.
around, Billy, you can see yourself on Facebook. But she had on his computer top secret information.
Right.
What's happening with that? And it brings the story. You ever hear the story about the Navy guy who took some pictures of the submarine that he was on and he sent it to his
went
family?
To jail. He
went to jail because there was some stuff there that wasn't supposed to be out in public.
Yeah. Well, there's an old saying: "It's not who you know." No, it's not what you know. It's who you know.
Well, I tell you, in my perspective, that I see what's going on in the government in the last decade or so. There's a lot of crooked stuff going on. And it's, people can say, well, you're naive to think that it didn't happen before. I'm sure it did happen before, but it seems like it's gotten rotten.
Well, there's a comment from Bill Ellis, my guest host tonight. And
who wants to talk about what's going on? Is it rotten in Denmark?
Who wants to talk about the swamp?
And that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It is.
I don't think that the swamp creatures are going to allow Trump to do much, if anything, to clean it up.
No, because I think that I think members of the swamp are on both sides.
Right, exactly.
And here's a guy that's coming in that nobody expected would win, and now that he has, they all have to now take a position to protect themselves. It's like a rat when it gets in a corner.
Right. They're not going to say that, but I think that's what's happened is that certain things are not going to get accomplished because it's like don't mess up our playground.
Well, I tell you, this is leading on to the next question about term limits.
Well, I think term limits are every couple of years or every 2 years, every 6 years for senators. I think term limits are what we call elections. And I understand what you're saying. I know you're a real follower, as am I. Maybe we could be affectionately called political junkies because we follow it pretty close.
Yeah, but people get name recognition, though.
There's not enough people. Right. Well, there's not enough people that really think, study the news, and see what's going on. And that's the problem, I think, more than anything, is that, when you even look at the amount of people that come out to vote, it's disappointing.
It is disappointing, and I think there should be term limits. And I understand what you're saying, that if the constituents don't think that a certain politician is doing the job, they can vote him out. But a lot of people don't follow it. And they remember year after year, oh, yes, Mr. Kennedy's running again. Oh, well, we voted for him before. And it just goes on and on and on. And James Michael Curley said, I don't care what you say about me, just say something, because 99% of the time when people go into the voting booth, they don't remember what was said, they just remember the name.
Well,
and that's how they get. He got elected and he was in jail.
There are some communities that have term limits in there. The state does not, I do not believe. And we have term limit for president. But the question that I'm not sure of, and I haven't really researched it, but I remember that people were saying that Barack Obama only had to stay out for one term and he could run again. You cannot, I guess it's worded, you cannot serve more than 2 terms consecutively. But what if you break it and then you go back? Can you do that?
Well, we did have a president that was president, left, and then came back again.
But I think that was
Cleveland.
before. I think that was before.
That was before,
right?
And it's interesting that they're talking about Donald Trump and his health.
Yeah.
Well, was anything brought up about FDR?
No, but that was another era. Hey, you know what? We're coming up on 7 o'clock, and this is the new open mic, and we have to break for news right here at 97.7 WHAV FM.
Open mic!
Bill Macek and the new open mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900. If you're enjoying this program, consider becoming a WHAV member right now. Just click on the membership tab at whav.net.
It's 7:01.
WHAV LP Haverhill.
Here's what's happening in local news. Massachusetts State Police, K-9 units, and a SWAT team descended on Haverhill's Highland Avenue Thursday night to support local officers during a standoff with a woman barricaded inside 8 Highland Avenue. Shortly after 9 p.m., Haverhill police responded to find the woman barricaded inside and firing shots with a BB gun. A state police spokesperson told WHAV members of the Regional Northeast Metropolitan Law Enforcement Council were called in for backup support. The state police air wing helicopter was also dispatched to Haverhill. No arrests were made following the incident. Haverhill police had no comment Friday other than to say that the incident was resolved peacefully. Help for Haverhill's police staffing crunch is on the way. Representative Andy Vargas announced Friday the state's Department of Public Safety and Security granted the Haverhill Police Department $205,000 at the request of Governor Charlie Baker. The money can be used to restore, retain, or hire police and fire personnel, Vargas said. The department may also choose to allocate the funds for overtime. Supporting our staffing levels at the Haverhill Police Department means a better protected city and a higher quality of life for our officers and residents, said Vargas in a statement. Haverhill is one of 14 police and fire departments across the Commonwealth to get state grants to assist with public safety and emergency response services. A happy ending was made possible through the power of social media. Just hours after a kitten named Caramel was kidnapped from Methuen's MSCPA at Nevins Farm, the internet kicked into gear to get the animal back to her shelter family. Nevins director Mike Keeley said at a Friday news conference the woman who walked off with the kitten in her purse was quickly ID'd through surveillance video and photos posted online. Methuen police contacted Malden Police, where the woman lives, on Friday afternoon. We recognize a bad decision was made, but in this case, a bad decision can be unmade by doing the right thing, Keeley said, adding that 2.5-month-old Caramel would be returning to Methuen to be fostered by a volunteer. It is unclear what charges, if any, the woman who took Caramel may face. We see about 75,000 people in this adoption center every year. We've been here 100 years, and we can count on one hand the number of times an animal has been taken. It's heartbreaking, Keeley added.
Business Bulletin.
Drake's Linda Miller has been named Director of Hospice Services for Merrimack Valley Hospice, the Home Health Foundation has announced. In her new role, Miller is responsible for delivering compassionate, quality care to patients at Haverhill's High Point House and York Hospital Hospice in Maine. Miller holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Public Relations from the University of Connecticut and got her nursing degree from St. Francis School of Nursing. Bringing 20 years of hospice and case management expertise to the Merrimack Valley, Miller previously worked at Newton Wellesley Hospital. Newburyport pediatrician Dr. Tammy Botner is the latest author stopping by Temple Emmanuel for its Breakfast with the Authors series. Botner will discuss her book Among the Reeds Sunday, January 28th, 10 a.m., with a breakfast served before the event at 9:30. A book signing will follow the Q&A. Tickets for the breakfast are $10 a person. A smaller gathering with the author is available to patrons for a $50 donation. Advance registration is requested by calling 978-373-3861. Remember, WHAV is the only Haverhill-based news source. There's always more at whav.net. From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, this is Eric Scott.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Rebecca Foster. The U.S. government shutdown looks to be ending, with the Senate having reached a compromise deal on the issue of immigration. The U.S. administration has ordered extra security measures on cargo flights out of 5 Middle Eastern countries. And India is becoming the fastest growing major economy, according to a new report by the International Monetary Fund.
Wave weather.
I'm WHAV meteorologist Gary Best with wave weather. Cloudy for tonight with occasional light showers coming through. Temperatures steady or rising a few degrees. Coming up during the day on Tuesday, periods of rain likely. Breezy and mild with a high of 50. Clearing at night down between 30 and 35. Partly to mostly sunny and close to 40 on Wednesday. Colder and fair on Thursday. This is Gary Best. Your next wave weather in 30 minutes.
Stay informed each day with local news, coupled with FSN's worldwide coverage. 97.9 WHAV is the only Haverhill-based news source. There's always more at WHAV.net.
WHAV, Merrimack Valley, open mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents the new Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
And we're back on the new Open Mic. I'm Bill Macek. Guest host tonight, Bill Ellis. How are you, Bill?
I am doing well, William. How about yourself?
We've got 1 hour done already. And we're
and one more to go.
We're in the second hour, and we're here till 8 o'clock. The new Open Mic is every Monday night, 6 until 8.
That's it.
So,
and it's 97.9.
It used to be 6:30. 97.9. I said 97.7 because I owned 97.7 in Winchendon, Massachusetts for about 10 years. So those calls, those frequencies just come out of my mouth without thinking. So I guess I wasn't thinking.
6 to 8.
So we are now here at WHAV FM, and we are at 97.9. But we're also other places. We're on Facebook. We're on WHAV.tv. We can also thank all of the staff and management and all the members of the local cable access stations around the area, and especially HC Media, because they provide both audio and video. So we're on TV, too. I can see you dressed up for the occasion.
I didn't know we were going to be on TV.
You didn't know about TV?
No. I would have brushed my teeth if I had known this.
Maybe you should have worn a champion hat for the Patriots.
I like my hat.
You like your
my
hat?
involvement in horse racing, and I like it very much.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of people won't wear a hat like this, but I'm unique. Some will say odd, but I say unique.
Okay. All right.
Not to be confused with eunuch.
That's not going there, Bill. All right, we're a family show here.
This is a family show.
We're licensed by the FCC, and we are not a straight cable or a satellite radio station.
You mentioned a game while we were off the air that I think is pretty interesting. That maybe it's something that should be played in future shows. Tell me about the game again.
We can play it a little bit tonight as an example.
Okay.
Alive, Dead, or Canadian. Is that the game you're talking about?
Right, but the Canadian part comes in because you used to be involved with a radio station. It was on the Canadian border in Vermont.
AM/FM stations on the Canadian border, right, in the Northeast Kingdom, as it is still called. And it wasn't in the Burlington side, on the northeast side.
Northeast side,
yeah.
And it's
beautiful country.
It's beautiful,
nice people.
But a lot of people up there are looked at in like Larry, Darryl, and Daryl. Sort of atmosphere. In fact,
really
I met somebody one time from the Northeast Kingdom.
Yeah.
And I asked them if they knew much about Vermont law, and they said a little bit, so I asked them the question. I said, in Vermont, if a husband and wife get divorced, are they still brother and sister?
Oh, Bill. Come on. It's not Vermont.
Well, there is, I tell you, though.
You can't say that.
Well, you can say that, but I lived in Vermont. So
I do remember
I've seen
the time that I was showing my wife around the area, and there's one area in Derby where one of my FM stations was licensed at Derby Center, actually. But we drove down a hill. And we didn't realize it. There's no markings or anything.
You went into Canada.
Went into Canada, and so I turned around, and I'm heading back. Next thing I know, there's a customs car chasing me with the lights on, green and white, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And we pulled over, and I had to explain who I was and why I was in the area and what I was doing, and the guy was very nice. But
Derby Line, Vermont.
Derby Line.
Do you know if you go in the library, half the libraries in Canada and half
Is
in the
it?
United States? Yes, there's a line goes right through.
The guy I bought the radio station from had a very large old home, and part of his land, none of his housing, the actual construction, but part of his land, he said, was in Canada. Yeah,
it's the interesting part about it was, and this 9/11 thing was a tragedy that it was, but you used to be able to go back and forth across the border without a passport.
Right.
And all they would ask you was when you were coming back into the United States, when the security person would stop you, the Border Patrol, they'd ask the question, were you on holiday? That's their term for vacation.
That's their term for vacation.
You're on holiday.
That's, I think, Europe is that way too.
Mhm.
They go on holiday.
And it's sad
I
now
like that.
because
Don't you like that?
What's that?
I like that.
I like that. It
Yeah.
sounds.
Sounds better than a vacation.
Well, if you're telling all that bit, the English accent, it sounds kind of nice. But no, it's. It was sad because my son and I, we went up to the Montreal Expos game the last year that they played, and the lines going back into the United States, the tractor trailers were backed up for miles because they were going through them from head to toe, and it's a tough thing, and when we take a look at now what Trump wants to do with the immigration, we seem to forget what happened in 2001 and what has prompted a lot of this.
Right.
I mean,
That's
we had close to 4,000 Americans got wiped out in a matter of a couple of hours.
Right. Yep. You're right.
So let's start a little bit about this game.
Okay, so you want to hear about a live dead Canadian? We actually played this on my FM station up there in the morning show. We would play it. So, if the rules are pretty simple, if somebody is, you have to first think, are they alive or dead, and then you have to say, and are they Canadian? Because if they're Canadian, you got to pick Canadian, regardless of whether they're alive or dead.
Okay.
And it's that simple. So,
all right, I'll give a name. Alex Trebek.
He is Canadian.
And he's alive.
Right. I'll give you one. Brian Adams.
The singer?
Yeah.
He's a Canuck.
Yeah. Well, Canadian.
We call them Canucks.
All right.
When there's something against them. No, actually.
Are they okay? They're okay with. They're a hockey team.
They're all okay now, yes. But there was at one time they didn't like the term Canuck.
Yeah.
But did you remember years ago when they had the question, oui et non, whether or not they wanted to secede Quebec from the rest of Canada? And actually, the vote was very close.
Yeah, I
and
do
they
remember
almost voted to secede.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
Yeah.
Have you spent much time in Canada?
Not recently. I have in the past. I've made multiple trips on holiday to Canada.
St. Catherine Street.
Yeah.
I could see you there.
Yeah. When I was a rock and roll musician in one of my other lives, and we were touring, we would sometimes be booked in Canada. I remember one time we didn't have the proper papers at the border. We're like 6 rock and roll musicians, coming up. We look the part.
Is it true? I heard the story. Let me ask you a question, though.
I had the place we were playing. Let me finish. The place we were playing, they told me, which was like almost 2 hours away, they said that they needed to get another paper signed by the establishment where we were going to be performing before they'd let us into the country. So, because I was always the leader, the manager of sorts, I got to drive to get that paper signed all alone. I thought I was in some kind of a thriller. I'm driving as fast as I can within the speed limit, but trying to get there to get back so that we could all be released across the border. It was pretty interesting.
Now, I heard one time when they asked you for papers, you gave them rolling papers.
No, not me. Not me, sir. No, thank you. But
which brings us back to our marijuana issue.
Okay, you're right. Just nice how they just dovetail into one another. Yeah. Oh, you know what? It's time for a break, though. We're coming up on the quarter past break. It's 7:14 right now on the new open mic. Bill Maxwell. No, Bill. See,
you don't know your name, you don't know the time, and you don't know the frequency.
Bill Maxwell on the radio every place but here, except for when I worked as Rick Adams at another place. But Bill Macek here tonight. Maiden voyage, along with my guest host, Bill
Ellis, and I've been using that name since birth.
Okay. Yeah, good. All right, we're at 97.9 FM, the new open mic.
Bill Macek and the new open mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900. If you're enjoying this program, consider becoming a WHAV member right now. Just click on the membership tab at WHAV.net.
97.9 FM, WHAV.
Catch the wave.
Melinda's Garden Moments help gardeners create and maintain a healthy, beautiful garden with ease, inside or out and all year long. This is Melinda Myers, inviting you to tune in every weekday morning, right here on WHAV. You'll learn creative ways to grow your own vegetables and herbs while beautifying your landscape. Eco-friendly lawn care, flower garden design basics, unique container gardens, attracting birds and butterflies to the landscape, and much more. Again, please join me weekday mornings for Melinda's Garden Moment for a very environmentally friendly approach to gardening. Remember, only local radio can bring you this feature opportunity, but only WHAV does.
Community Spotlight.
Newburyport pediatrician and memoirist Dr. Tammy Botner is the latest author stopping by Temple Emmanuel for its Breakfast with the Author series. Botner will discuss her book Among the Reeds on Sunday, January 28th at 10 a.m. with a breakfast served before the event at 9:30. Botner will detail her family's Holocaust experiences and how she triumphed in the face of tragedy. Tickets for the breakfast are $10 per person. A smaller gathering is available to patrons for a $50 donation. Advance registration is requested by calling 978-373-3861. Someone you know is on WHAV. To submit or read your own nonprofit announcements, click on the Contact tab at WHAV.net or email news@WHAV.net. In the Edwin V. Johnson newsroom, this is Robin Fancher.
WHAV Open Mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents the new Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
And we're back on the new open mic. I'm Bill Macek. My guest host here is Bill Ellis.
How you doing, William?
I'm doing good.
You're Bill Macek, right?
Right. Are we done with the live Dead or Canadian?
No, let's play. Give her.
You want to play? Want to throw a name out? We'll give him a package of baseball cards, antique baseball cards.
Those are interesting baseball cards.
I'm not sure we can give them away, but I'm going to give a pack away now.
Okay.
All right.
So you want me to come up with a name?
No, I don't want you to come up with it. Yeah, go ahead.
You want to Pierre Trudeau?
No, I'm not. That's not good. No, we have to come up with a name that people will have to think about, or at least Google. I mean, doesn't Google wreck everything today? You know,
it does.
But it's you throw a question out like this, all of a sudden they're Googling it. Where are they born? Or Wikipedia too. They could go on Wikipedia and find out. So I'm giving them hints on how to find out. So you want to?
See, the Canadian thing throws it off. It only that really is applicable to
so you don't
the
want to play
northern.
now. You're
I'll do.
Why
don't we do Dead or Alive?
Just Dead or Alive.
Just Dead or Alive. You ready?
Yeah, I guess. Sure. We could just do
Jim
Dead
Neighbors.
Well, I know the answer. We're throwing this out for the listeners, though.
Okay.
All right.
You know what? Actually, why don't we do this? Let's ask the listeners, who's the only one that's still alive?
That's one guy.
Who's the guy?
Jim Neighbors.
No, he's dead. On the original cast.
Gave the answer out.
Well, he's dead. I'll tell you that. He
know
just
that.
recently died. But who is still alive from that show? Then the Andy Griffith Show. Here's one for you. Here's a trivia question. What was the first sitcom spinoff?
I know. It's Opie.
What do you mean it's Opie? What was the spinoff from?
From the Andy Griffith Show.
No. Andy Griffith
He's
was spun
still
off from the
alive. Ron Howard's still
but Andy
alive.
Griffith was spun off from the Danny Thomas Show. That's the first spinoff.
It was?
There was an episode where Danny Thomas goes through a small town in North Carolina and this hick sheriff stops him. Yeah, they liked it, and then that's how they came up with the Andy Griffith Show. And then, because if you notice, when you watch the end, it's a Danny Thomas production.
Yeah.
And when Andy Griffith was cast for the show, and then it was told that it was going to become a regular show.
A regular sitcom.
Barney Fife called him up, Don Knotts,
Yeah.
and said, "Could you use a deputy?"
Really?
Yeah, and that's how. And
He
when all
was
said,
great.
he was great. In
He
fact,
was
they
great.
had worked together. You ever see the movie No Time for Sergeants?
Sergeant Bilko?
No. That's Phil Silvers.
That's Phil Silvers.
No Time for Sergeants. They were in that movie
He
together.
was only a sergeant. No, Sergeant Bilko, right? He was a sergeant.
He was a sergeant.
No time for him.
There wasn't. Which comes to that song from the Guess Who there or whatever. No Time Left for You. Remember that song?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
But
Guess who? Alive, dead, or Canadian?
Well,
Burton Cummings, the lead singer.
Yeah, he's Canadian.
All right.
But no, so that's how that spun off from Danny Thomas to Andy Griffith, and Don Knotts won 5 Emmys for his appearance, whereas Andy never won one.
No kidding.
Yeah. In fact, Andy changed his role after the first year. In the first year, he came across as really being a hick, but the subsequent years, he smartened up. He changed, and was more of a. When Don Knotts took over, I think.
Where did Barney keep his bullet?
Right in his top pocket.
Top pocket.
Yeah.
Right here. Yeah.
Now, here's a question for you.
I used to love the guys, those the calamity guys that would show up and break windows, and what was their name? Do you remember their name?
There was only one of them.
One.
And his name was
Ernest
T. Bass.
Bass.
Right.
That's right.
And Ernest T. Bass was actually a producer on that show.
Was he?
He did that role, but that was not his original role, and he only did 5 episodes.
Yeah.
With that, but he was very famous. Now, there was only one married person on that show that had a prominent role.
Well, Aunt Bee must have been married.
No, she never was.
She had her children out of wedlock? Are you saying that?
She never had children.
She never had children?
No. Who was the only married person? Had a prominent role in that show.
The mayor?
Nope. He didn't have a prominent role. It was Otis Campbell.
The drunk.
Right, and that's why he was used to drink, because he was the only married person on the show.
Jeez, you are rough.
Bastion of knowledge.
You are, huh? Yeah.
No.
All right. Well,
but anyways,
we're going to move on
now.
Well,
this is getting back to the Hogan's Heroes episode that the fellow was talking about, the show. Because LeBeau, actually, who played on that show, the Frenchman they called him, he actually was in concentration camps as a kid.
No kidding.
Yeah. So a lot of those people associated with that show actually had real life stories to tell.
Have you had a chance to watch any of the Hunting Hitler
I have not.
program on the History Channel?
I have not.
I've been watching that. It is just incredible. The information that was released in 2015. Obama released all these old top secret records about Hitler, and not just from our own FBI and Secret Service, but also from other countries that provided the United States with information they had about him traveling in many other countries. He supposedly killed himself in his bunker. Mm-hmm. Nah, I don't believe it. Not after watching this show. Well, it's in the 3rd season.
He lives in Argentina, or did.
Yeah, that was one of the places.
Right.
And the facilities that he would build with miles, some of them, of underground cement tunnels for escape routes. Just he was creating the Fourth Reich, is what they said. And that he was also developing a nuclear bomb, and he was working on it. But some of these places were fantastic.
Well, the big thing was with the nuclear or atomic weapons, it was the heavy water that was in Norway.
Right.
And the United States fortunately got there.
That's
they
right.
Obtained that.
I thought you weren't watching. They just showed that last week.
I paid attention in school, William.
You did?
Yeah, I didn't have to watch TV. We had
Did you go to
teachers
school
and
in
professors.
Norway?
I did go to school in Norway.
Yeah, I thought so.
And I came over here to the United States, when I heard that Trump was looking for people to settle here.
Oh.
But that's an interesting point. If you ever read anything on Donald Trump, I mean not on Hitler, should get those two confused. A lot of people do. some of the positive things before he went off the loose end there is Germania, which was supposed to be Berlin, which was supposed to be the spectacular city.
Those are beautiful flowers.
Seriously. If you ever read up about that, on some of the things he did, like the Volkswagen, he was the one that created the Volkswagen.
Right.
Was the people's car.
That's right.
But then all of a sudden he got sidetracked and did all those horrible things.
Crazy stuff. Yeah.
Because he actually brought Germany back. Because World War I think we told them they could have 2 ships and that was it, and we basically held them after World War I. So it wasn't hard for him to pick up steam because those people were oppressed by what had taken place from that was the Treaty of Versailles.
Right. Were they steamships?
No, they weren't.
No. Because you mentioned steam and ships, I just wanted to make sure that
you're pretty astute right now for a guy that didn't even know his name.
Right. Yeah. Oh, jeez.
No, but I gotta watch
the
hunting Hitler. Yeah, because there's been a lot of speculation that he didn't die.
Yeah, and they aren't done yet. I wish they'd get to a conclusion, though. They keep finding this will be so important, and then they just keep moving on. But they go, oh, now we're going to go north. Okay, we already checked out the south escape. Now we're going to do the north escape from Germany. But
why do you think, though, whose bodies were burned? And actually, the bodies were...
They didn't seem to care much about that. They're just showing...
Well, didn't the Russians... They got to the bunker first.
They were there. Yeah.
And they took the bodies. It's my understanding.
They didn't say that, so I can't confirm or deny.
Well, they didn't just leave them there.
Yes. All right. Okay. Well.
Anyways, enough for the history lesson.
All right. We wanted to say that we are looking for people to call in birthdays. That we have a cake from Albie D's Italian Bakery in Bradford to give away to the lucky winner of the cake. And I was corrected during one of the breaks after I said we weren't going to give a cake away until February, that there will be a cake given away next week. So call in, it doesn't have to be your birthday. Call in, give your wife's, your girlfriend's, your mother's, your father, your children's birthday, as long as it is really a birthday in January.
Now, what would be interesting is
no January, only February birthdays.
Is
they're giving it away the last
next Monday.
Next Monday, the last Monday because and it will be for February birthdays. And then we won't give a cake away for another month, and it'll be for March birthdays. I think I have.
So if you're listening right now,
I'd rather play
for
a
double cake,
live dinner Canadian
for a double cake. If you call up, and if you're married and you give your girlfriend's birthday, you get 2 cakes.
No, that's not. You're going to get the management in trouble here. They get 1 cake at Albie D's.
The management. How about the guy that's calling in, giving his girlfriend's birthday that's married? You don't think
maybe they could request 2 cupcakes. I'll see if maybe they could do that.
You're really generous.
Hey, look, we have a budget we have to stay within.
So call in. Actually, the thing is, if we don't get a caller in the next 10 minutes, let's open it up where somebody can call in for Valentine's Day.
We got a half hour.
I understand that, but we're going to be kind of stretching it. We had a lot of positive stuff.
So you're just a guest host. You're in here changing the program.
Billy, I hate to tell you, but there's some other big changes being made.
Oh, yes, sir.
There'll be Bill still on the mic, but they'll have to change the bumper music.
The Bill and Bill show. We're going to do that again. We used to do that. Remember?
Yes, that was fun.
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun.
We did mornings for a while, the Bill and Bill show, and we had a lot of fun.
That was good, getting up at 4:30 in the morning.
I know. People don't understand.
No.
You don't get up at 6 and just turn the mic on. You got to get up.
It's a lot of preparation.
There is.
That comes into that.
Absolutely.
So,
okay.
what do you who do you like in the Super Bowl? I mean, you got to like the Patriots.
I like the Patriots.
I think they're 5.5 point spread.
Yep, that's right.
The Eagles will be flying high.
They're going to be tough, but I think, the Patriots, Brady, I worry more about. But Belichick is just such a genius. He finds people, both on the field and off, that deliver the goods. We're going to lose at least our defensive coordinator, Matt Patricia. It looks like he's going.
Mm-hmm.
Has he already committed? Well, they can't commit until they stop playing.
Afterwards.
It's the management. I mean, the agent can kind of talk. Hey, yeah, Matt will come to Detroit. He's supposedly going. That's the rumor. Detroit Lions. But you think that maybe Josh is not going to?
No, I think Josh is going to stay. Matt Patricia's going to leave.
Yeah.
But remember, we had these same scenarios before. Remember the names like Charlie Weiss and so forth when they left? And the team still rolled on.
They find new people. All right, we're coming up on another break here, Bill. And we're coming into the fourth turn. We're
like horse racing.
Yes, it's or car racing. Yeah.
I prefer horse racing.
Yeah, all right. Well, 7:30 on the new
a
open mic.
97.9
WHAV FM.
Open mic.
Bill Macek and the new open mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900. If you're enjoying this program, consider becoming a WHAV member right now. Just click on the membership tab at WHAV.net.
It's 7:31.
Broadcasting on the Armstrong FM system. This is 97.9 WHAV.
Catch the wave.
Suspense. A weekly anthology of notable melodramas from stage and screen, fiction and radio, presented every Monday night to bring you to the edge of your chair, to keep you in suspense. Listen to the new Suspense with a company of Hollywood actors and surprising guest stars, Monday nights at 10, with encore performances at 1 a.m., right here on WHAV. Remember, only local radio can bring you this feature opportunity, but only WHAV does.
Wave weather.
I'm WHAV meteorologist Gary Best with wave weather. Cloudy for tonight with occasional light showers coming through. Temperatures steady or rising a few degrees. Coming up during the day on Tuesday, periods of rain likely. Breezy and mild with a high of 50. Clearing at night down between 30 and 35. Partly to mostly sunny and close to 40 on Wednesday. Colder and fair on Thursday. This is Gary Best. Your next wave weather in 30 minutes.
WHAV Open Mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents the new Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
We are back on the new open mic. Bill Macek here, along with guest host Bill Ellis.
97.9, and we have a phone call, a birthday phone call.
We do. Let's take it. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm great. What's the birthday?
It's Ryan McRae, and he's February 5th.
Ryan McRae on February 5th. Okay. And what's your name?
Marilyn Bodwell. I'm his grandmother.
Oh, you're a good grandmother.
How old is he going to be in the 5th?
22.
God bless him. Were you there when he was born?
No, but I went there shortly after he was born.
Nice. Very nice.
That is nice. You sound like a proud grandmother. How many grandchildren do you have?
I have 7 grandsons and 2 great-grandsons.
Well, that'll keep you busy.
Any granddaughters?
Only step-granddaughters, a couple.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
Well, that's great. Now, what type of cake does Ryan like?
probably chocolate.
Really? Now, Bill Macek doesn't like chocolate.
Keep me out of
Well,
it.
you know, he'll have to take what he gets.
That's right. You got it right.
That's right.
Yeah.
You teach him a lesson in life. Take what you get and appreciate
It's
it.
like ice cream. Remember, remember Howard Johnson's used to have, what was it, 28 flavors?
Yes.
So that there'd be, you could always find a flavor you liked, right? Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. All right.
Marilyn.
Thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
All right. Call in again. Have a great night. Okay.
You too.
Bye-bye. We have another call, and that is on line 2. Hello, caller. You're on the new open mic.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I just on there before the commercial break, station break. You said Hitler You think when he supposedly committed suicide?
That's
Well,
what they originally said.
All the history books say that, he committed suicide in his bunker.
Took a pill.
Yeah, in his bunker.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I'm not really a history buff. You guys probably know a lot more than I'll ever know. But the thing is, you think he survived that?
Yeah.
Your opinion?
Have you watched any of the show on the History Channel called Hunting?
I have.
Hunting Hitler. You don't think that that's possible, that he has, got out of town 5 days early, and that set it up so that somebody else? Because they say nobody really saw who was in the bunker, who was wrapped up in a rug or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, supposedly it was he and Edith Braun.
Right. Right. His wife. Nobody said they could really identify the bodies.
Yeah, because they were charged. Well, they were burned. Yeah.
Right.
Were they burned? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were burned and all. But so you watch the History Channel too. That guy was a maniac.
Oh,
God, that guy was. The sad thing about it is too, Stalin was just as bad.
Worse, probably worse.
Yeah, worse.
Now, let me ask you a question. You've been watching the History Channel. You've been watching Hitler and Stalin. There have been liberals out there that have been saying that Trump is just like Hitler and Stalin. What are your thoughts?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not. I mean, I'm not taking side. No, the thing is, I'm not a liberal and all that. But the thing is, no. Trump, no. The only guy, I just thought about this too. You know how South Korea, North Korea is bringing whatever to the Olympics?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you remember back in 1936, the Olympics in Germany?
Yes.
How Germany, all the players and all that, all the crowds and all that, it was like, it was a big, what do you call it, facade, whatever that word is?
Yeah.
A fake thing, whatever. And then after when the Olympics were over, they went back to, beating on the Jewish people and all that.
Well, the interesting thing is Marty Glickman, who was Jewish, was not allowed to run in the 36 Olympics.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Right.
Because of his religion, but yet they did let Jesse Owens did run, and when Jesse won, Hitler went out the back door because he didn't want to face it.
He was PO'd.
So
he was
racism has been around for a long time.
It's been around for a long time. It's
very unfortunate.
Interesting part is when there was Joe Louis and Max Schmeling. Max Schmeling
I was just thinking of that.
beat Joe Louis,
Yeah.
and then there was Hitler was very proud and saying superiority. Then Joe Louis beat Max Schmeling. But years later, when Joe Louis was down on his luck, Max Schmeling helped him out. Max Schmeling actually had a Coca-Cola dealership in Germany.
Oh, he did?
Yes, he
Okay.
did.
Oh, really?
He ended up helping out Joe Louis towards the tail end of his life when he was down and out.
Well, very nice.
Yeah, because
Very nice.
was Max Schmeling and all that, I think he was never a Nazi, I don't think.
Well, he didn't come out and really push for it. I mean, he was sympathetic towards, he didn't agree with what Hitler was, but he was, a term you used, a facade. He was used to show German superiority because he was a tremendous boxer. But no, he didn't really come out and push being a Nazi.
The issue?
Now, you talk about Max Schmeling. Quick question. You ever hear the boxer Max Baer?
Yes.
Oh, Beverly Hillbillies?
Right.
No, that was his father that was the boxer. Max Baer on Beverly Hillbillies. He was not a boxer.
Oh, I thought you said, what'd you say, Mark or Max?
Max Baer, there was two of them. There was the father and the son. The son was on Beverly Hillbillies, and the father was the boxer.
Oh, really?
Right.
Oh, wow, something new. I mean, I'm just saying I'm 55 years old, and I'm like, wow, that's something new. Wow.
55. So you must have been heartbroken when David Cassidy passed away.
Oh, Jesus. No, probably my sisters back then. Oh, my God. I still remember watching those shows. I watch them now and then. My granddaughter, she's 7 years old, and she says to me, Grampy, you're old. No, wait a minute. No, she says she can pronounce the word now. No, I'm prehistoric.
Now, the Partridge Family was based on what actual group?
Oh, yeah. I can't think. I know it's not the Contours.
I don't know.
It's not,
Never heard.
The Cowsills.
Oh, the Cowsills.
Oh, the Cowsills. That's right. The Cowsills.
And the reason they were supposed to, Cowsills were actually supposed to be in that role, but then they went to them and they said, we don't want the mother to play, the Mrs. Cowsill, the mother.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the family said, well, if she's not going to be there, we're not going to be there.
I know they're from Rhode Island, I think, too.
Exactly.
They were. You're right.
Yeah.
And who was the best male and female singers that came out of Connecticut?
Oh.
Hint?
You
Got a
got me
hint?
on that one.
Got a hint?
I'll give you.
No.
They were brother and sister.
With the
We've
Carpenters?
only just
not the
yeah, the Carpenters.
Yeah.
That's right.
Karen and Richard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, they're from Connecticut?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they were Midwest, like California or something.
No, they went
Oh,
to
wow.
California after they had the success in on the East and realized that to make all the money, you had to go out west.
Yeah. Well, you two guys are pretty smart.
Bill is smart. Bill
Yeah, Bill's
watches a lot of TV.
Yeah. Well,
He's got this crib sheet in front of him, and he
that's
lets
it.
me look at it every once in a while.
when I have TV on, I'm
Are
usually
you ready?
even reading.
He likes history. We'll ask him this. This is a good history question.
Who said I liked history?
Well, no, not you. This is the
Oh,
caller.
the
Bill,
gentleman on the
you're non-existent in this conversation. The question is: there were two presidents that died on the same day. Who were the two presidents the same day?
Oh, what, you mean January 22nd?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to give you the day. You ready? I'll give you the date. It was July 4th, 1826. Two presidents died on the same day within hours of each
Jefferson?
other. Jefferson was one, and who was the other?
I like to say Adams, but I'm not sure.
It was John Adams.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the
50
father or the
years.
son.
You got it.
The father of the son, it was the father. All right, you ready?
father?
Yep. Do you want to talk about father and son? Here's one. This is a very unique history question. Only one man in American history can make this claim. My father was president. My son was president. Who was it?
Bush?
Nope. My
Oh,
father
who?
was president. My son was president.
You got me on that one, sir.
Well, the father was William Henry Harrison.
Oh, okay.
And then there was Benjamin Harrison was his son. It was John Harrison. And,
Oh, really?
Yep. And William
Oh,
Henry
wow.
Harrison had two famous distinctions about his presidency. Do you know what they were, Billy?
I don't.
He wanted to have the longest inaugural speech, of which he spoke for
I
about
heard
three
something
hours in
about
a
that.
pouring rain.
Yeah.
And he had the
Got
shortest
sick-
presidency.
got sick
And he
and
had
died.
pneumonia, and he died a month later.
I did hear
I
that.
heard it.
Yeah.
I heard that. I heard that before. Yeah. One more last question. Another thing about how they're legalizing marijuana, or it is legalized. The only thing that scares me the most. I mean, I used to do it back in the teenage years and all that. But the thing that scares me the most now? There's gonna be more stoners on the road. Well,
yeah,
more people
that's a concern. And we don't have a breathalyzer. There's nothing to really check
Yeah,
except for a
I
blood
know.
sample as
I
to
know.
whether or not somebody's impaired. So
How much
that's
did you
what's
use as a
scary.
younger man, caller? How much
Huh?
marijuana did you smoke as a younger man?
When I was in teenage years.
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
A lot of it?
Yeah, I did my share.
Do you
I
think
did
it
my
had any
share.
effect on you through life?
Well, right now at 55, not really. I don't think so. I don't think so.
Now, did you get prompted at all to want to try anything stronger, like heroin or cocaine?
No, was it? I've seen the disasters. I have a daughter that went through it. She's been clean for 16 months now.
God bless
and
her.
I know. And I tell you one thing right now. She said to me, she said, "Dad, you know what? This was when she was in recovery." She said, despite she does her marijuana, I don't care about that. But but the thing is, when she got help, and it's just incredible what heroin does to her. She's only 29.
Oh, well.
And she did
Hopefully
it for
she
what?
can stay clean.
Well, hopefully,
Yeah.
16 months turned into 16 years and the rest of her life.
Right.
And I'll let you go on this. But the thing is, I never want to see that again.
No.
When she went through the withdrawals and this and that, and my granddaughter, she would go, "Grampy, Mommy's sick again." I said, "Oh, it's okay." I said, "Let's go for a walk with the dog." And about a half an hour later, 40 minutes later, she's fine.
Yeah.
It's the epidemic. You know it, and I know it. It's just crazy.
It's tough.
It is sad.
It's every age, every walk of life, and we need to figure out how to stop it.
In Manchester, New Hampshire, is like one of the hardest hit communities. And Lawrence, Massachusetts.
Yeah. And we're right
I
next
grew
door.
up in Lawrence. I live in Haverhill now, but I grew up in Lawrence. But it's just incredible. I mean, it's really, really incredible. I mean, what it does to you. I mean, to her, because at 29 years old, I'll put it this way. I think, some of the things she says now, I mean, she's bipolar, but some of the things I think the heroin really affected her brain.
Wow.
That's my opinion.
Wow, that's tough. What's your first name?
Danny.
Danny, thanks for calling in. Be a regular
yeah.
caller. Call anytime. On a Monday night, we're here 6 to 8 on the new open mic. Thank you very much. We've got to take a break.
Thank you, Danny.
Okay, have a good one.
All right.
Okay. All right. Well, that's the way it works. If anybody wants to call in, regardless of the topic that we're talking about, call in. We'll talk about your topic right here on the new open mic on WHAV-FM 97.9.
Open mic.
Bill Macek and the new open mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900. If you're enjoying this program, consider becoming a WHAV member right now. Just click on the membership tab at WHAV.net.
The Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom turns out local programs every day and night. Tune in for local news, Community Spotlight, and the Open Mic Show. 97.9 WHAV is the only Haverhill-based news source. There's always more at WHAV.net.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Gary Best. Do you need to know if it's going to be hot or cold, wet or dry? Well, find out every half hour, 7 days a week with Wave Weather. I'll keep you in touch with up-to-the-minute reports covering the greater Merrimack Valley and beyond. It's WHAV for accurate weather when you want it.
Catch the wave. WHAV. Open mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV-FM presents the new Open Mic Show with Bill Macek. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
Back on the new open mic, I'm Bill Macek, and our guest host tonight, Bill Ellis, is here, and we're approaching the final turn here, Bill. We have
15 minutes to go.
Not quite, 13.
13, and I want to talk about now, is this a concert that you would go to? Bill Cosby just announced today a surprise concert in Philadelphia.
No, I would not go. That man, to me, is despicable.
How many protesters do you think there will be there?
Not as many as there should be.
But I can't imagine anybody would want to put that on.
Yeah.
I would think that he's so poison right now.
I mean, there was one time the man could do nothing wrong as far as his public opinion. He was hot. He had his TV show. He did concerts. He had albums, comedy albums. He was, I remember. Hey, Fat Albert.
Yeah, he was good.
He
but,
was good.
What the sad part about it is, a lot of people knew what his lifestyle was and never said anything.
Really? See,
Yes.
I didn't know.
Well, because I'm on the inside of the
Yeah,
Hollywood circle.
You are such an insider. I
Harvey
know.
Weinstein and I.
I know.
We have a caller, Billy.
Hollywood Bill. Yes, I know we have a call. Our producer held up a sign, said call. Is that how you knew?
No, I'm psychic.
Oh, good. I'm looking for a psychic for a show.
Well, I can handle that
you
for
can
you.
do that? All right.
I'm going to ask you a psychic question right after we talk to this caller. Go ahead.
All right. Okay. Hello, caller. You're on the air on the open mic.
Hey, how you doing? I wanted to talk about the marijuana situation.
Okay, great. What would you like to comment?
So I am a user. I've used for, about 10, 15 years. I'm 35 years old. I have a good job. I own a home. I am an active member in the community. And I think that a lot of people are disregarding the fiscal nature that marijuana will bring to the city of Haverhill.
Well, there definitely is a fiscal nature. There will be money made, which is now just being made by the black market in a sense, in a non-racial way. I said that.
Is it always good though, caller, to want to sell your soul? I mean, as far as like the marijuana
money,
issue,
right. But it has a medicinal purpose too.
I understand
I
that.
do believe that it has a medicinal purpose. So
It most definitely has a medicinal purpose. I have severe anxiety, and that is caused by PTSD. And it has been one of the most amazing things that keeps my life in order. I work in a corporate environment. I handle, millions of dollars, and I think that there's a stigma that because it's a drug, that it's going to be bad for the community. But yet, we are prescribed narcotics on a daily basis. I think that there needs to be a regulation, and if the government does it in the correct way, which we know is not often the case, I think there is a real benefit to the community.
Well, Haverhill will have recreational marijuana, my guess is, within 12 to 18 months, if not sooner, because it was voted upon by about a 2-to-1 margin in favor of recreational marijuana in a recent election. And because of that, the state, which is setting up all of the regulations for the state, is going to require Haverhill to have a certain amount of recreational pot vending facilities. Call them pot shops, that's what they're going to be. But those are coming, I believe. And so the question is, you said you're 35. What's your first name?
My name is Teddy.
Teddy.
Teddy, what prompted you to start smoking marijuana?
And at what age? That's what I was going to ask him.
I was about 18 years old.
Okay, so you were...
Peer pressure?
No, it was more of a social aspect thing. And then I figured out that I used to be this really, really high-strung. My brain would move 1,000,000 miles an hour. And this slowed it down to a pace that was manageable.
All right. Well, I really appreciate your honesty and you calling into the show tonight. And I think, we're going to probably continue talking about the marijuana component for Haverhill and the surrounding communities, because it really is a hot topic, and it hasn't settled yet as to how it's going to be dealt with in the state of Massachusetts. So we appreciate hearing from you, and from time to time, do weigh in. Give us a call, okay?
I sure will. I enjoy the show.
All right,
Thank you, Teddy.
Thanks for your call. Okay, I think we have another call on, and we'll go right to that call now because we got about 8 minutes left here, Bill. All right, the open mic program, and good evening. You're on the open mic.
Is it me? I'm on?
It is
You are on.
You are on.
Okay.
And who is you?
My name's Greg over in Bradford.
Greg,
Yes,
how are you?
I'm doing fine.
Thanks for
Doing
listening.
great.
Thanks for calling in tonight.
Okay. Marijuana.
Yes.
I'm a little, I'm a live and let live, bleeding heart liberal, and, I don't really care what people do. What kind of scares me, 3 things about having legal pot shops in Haverhill. Number one, we're in a border town, and our adjacent state did not legalize marijuana.
Not yet.
And the towns around us voted no, so they can just keep pot shops out of their communities if they wish.
Correct.
We can't, given the law, because Haverhill voted for it. I don't know if it was 2-to-1, but we did vote for it.
It was close to 2-to-1.
And so, therefore, we're going to be the island of cannabis bliss.
And that's why there is right now in the pipeline an ordinance, a zoning ordinance, to control any recreational permitting with a moratorium, so that the city has ample time to review the regulations that are promulgated by the new cannabis control that the state has. And once they set those up, that will give the city at least 6 months to properly set up whatever is probably best going forward with some of the concerns you just mentioned.
Well, that's not the only concern. Biggest concern I have is it's still illegal under federal law.
That's correct.
And even though people might say states' rights, and all this, it's still illegal, and the federal government can very easily enforce things or
Correct.
take moves. Because I'll give you, there's never been a precedent for that. Yes, there was. 30 years ago, we had an 18-year-old drinking age and it proved to be, some people argue yes, no, but it proved to be a disaster. And all the states around, Maine, Vermont, Massachusetts, even New York, which was 18 at the end of Prohibition, went to 21. Our illustrious neighbor to the north saw an economic opportunity there. Let's stay at 18. Let's be the only 18 state, and we can corner the kiddie booze market.
Yeah.
And then what happened? President Reagan, federal government stepped in and said, okay, you can have your 18-year-old drinking age if you like, but if you don't go to 21, we're going to cut your federal highway funds.
Yes, I remember that.
This is one of the reasons Governor Baker put, the state put an 18-month more, because should the federal government decide to step in and step up in anti-cannabis move, a lot of people would lose a lot of money.
That's
you
true.
want to invest in a pot shop? Go ahead.
No.
You can invest your $250,000, divest your 401k, invest it in a pot shop. Comes along and the federal government says, okay, you legalize pot, we're going to cut your highway funds, we're going to cut this fund, that fund, the other fund. You're going to see a lot of arguments against marijuana all of a sudden.
But on the other side, I've also heard there is a movement in Washington, D.C. to declassify marijuana so that it would not be a problem for the states to
And you know what?
permit
With
it.
the Republican majority there and a Republican White House, fat chance.
But
Okay.
I think I think though over the period of time, I mean, marijuana doesn't have the same stigma it had 25, 30 years ago.
Oh, no.
I think that more people are accepting it now, and I don't, the government. I have heard rumors that they would go into Colorado and basically clamp down, but
Yeah.
Well, they've kind of
the number three
threatened
thing is these
Jeff
are cash
Sessions.
businesses.
Right. Jeff Sessions has actually put out the word to the country that he may be clamping down. So
Yeah.
it'll be
And
interesting.
number three, these are cash businesses because they're not allowed to use the banking system.
Right.
That makes them hold-up targets because there's going to be a lot of cash in a pot shop in Haverhill on Saturday night, and also statewide opportunities, extortion, money laundering, and everything else because you're having a huge cash business there.
Something else that needs to be reviewed and looked at. You're,
Yes,
you're
right.
100%
So,
correct.
yeah,
But there are,
careful
what I
with cash, or
understand,
you might get it.
there are certain banking institutions where they can do business. They're just not federally regulated.
Billy, quick question before we have to go: how many pot shops are there possibly could open up in Haverhill?
Well, it's an unknown number. It's vague because the rumor was it could be up to 20% of the number of liquor licenses that we have.
And?
What wasn't clear whether or not the liquor licenses were full package store licenses only, also included beer and wine licenses, or also included restaurants. You include the restaurants, you're up over 100, and so 20% would be over 20 pot shops that we would have
The
to
other thing is
open.
there are people positioning themselves now, and you can see the effects of it, positioning themselves, getting ready for this.
Right. Yeah, well, that's true, and I would love to continue this conversation because we are quickly running out of time here. We have to stop at 8 o'clock, but I do thank you for your call. We'll be talking about this, I'm sure, again maybe next week, and because I have some other things I'd love to add to the conversation about marijuana. So hopefully we'll
Would
be
be a
back
good
on
show
top
as
of
you get stoned on the
Never.
air and see if it
I've
had an
never,
effect.
You know what? I'm the
I won't be.
I'm the Webster's Dictionary freak. I'm not. I've never drank, smoked cigarettes, or done any kind of drugs.
Have you ever had an extramarital affair?
Never.
For our next show.
All right, Greg, thank you very much for listening and calling in to the new Open Mic program. We're here every Monday night from 6 until 8 on the...
Father William Macek.
Father?
You live a life like...
Well, you know what? My vice has been food, but I think you have the same vice.
I do have the same vice. I did have my New Year's resolution last year. I was successful. I had the resolution to gain weight, and I did do it.
Well, all right. My guest host is Bill Ellis.
Back sometime soon.
I'd love to come back next week if you want.
Sounds
I
good.
love having you. All right. We are on the new open mic program. We are going to be here as long as the boss allows us to show up on Monday nights, 6 to 8. And it's been fun, hasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I thank Chris, definitely doing a great job handling the calls and keeping us in line with time to break and things like that. And you need to have a producer, and he's done a great job. So we'll have Chris. Will you come back again too next week? All right, we're getting a thumbs up in there. So I think we've done okay. We're coming up on 8 o'clock, Bill. So it's been a great maiden voyage, and you can pick up your luggage down at Terminal C. All right, that's it. Bye.
Thank you very much. Have a great night,
It's
everybody.
8:01.
WHAV LP Haverhill.
Wave weather.
I'm WHAV meteorologist Gary Bess with wave weather. Cloudy for tonight with occasional light showers coming through. Temperatures steady